Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have my good friend David Eisenhauer, also the Lofi dev. David, welcome to Tampa, and thanks for joining me.
Good to be back home.
Yes.
Crazy. I come back to Tampa and it looks wildly different versus when I grew up here.
How much better does it look?
So much better. I can see why you convinced Rodney to get out.
Yep, and I'm not done convincing. You know, that's why we got you here as well. We're gonna do some fun stuff tonight. Go to a Tampa Bay Lightning game. And I brought one good friend here, and I want to bring another one here. So I'm not forcing you to come, but look, it is a great city. We would love to have you back here in the 813, but welcome back. You're in Chicago right now. It's got to be cold this time of year, eh? January's got to be a little chilly.
A little chilly. They call it Shiberia up in Chirac, and that's the rest of my Chi jokes. But yeah, it's cold up there. Really cold.
It won't be a podcast without some dad jokes from David Eisenhauer. But David, we got to get into it first off, the Lofi developer. But I want to start before then. First, we've known each other for what, 20 plus years?
Yeah.
19, 20 years, almost 2 decades. So we go way back. You were helping me run a lot of my content, still are. Your team is still helping with a lot of my videos and whatnot. But give us your background. So obviously you've been in crypto for at least 4 years, working in crypto.
Probably working in crypto 7 now.
Oh, wow. So give us the background.
Yeah, 7. So full background, 2014, started doing a lot of marketing, graduated 2015 from college, economics, finance. So I have that background, right? I understand how the world works, but my passion was in marketing, creative. And so really just starting in marketing 2014, 2015, had my own little mini agency, a couple clients, was doing social media marketing before social media marketing was even a thing. Mm-hmm. And it turned into social media. And then we had ambassadors before ambassadors were influencers. And yeah, we basically paired ambassadors and social media marketing, worked out really well, caught a lot of people's eyes. Their attention was just kind of magnetized to this style, this model. I don't know if we necessarily pioneered it, but for what we were doing at the time, it was new. So I think I tell people I kind of trailblazed this path, and it led me to build a digital marketing agency, scale that. And then in 2018, we split it into 2. So we had Zero Omega, and then we had just a traditional one that services everyday businesses, mom and pops, doctors, dentists, your friends, your cousins. If they need marketing support, we help them out. But really in 2018 is when we started doing Web3 crypto marketing and started with a stablecoin company that was quite interesting at the time. It was revolutionary. And they're not around today. I think they're trying to make a comeback. But from then, we've worked with tons of different crypto companies. We work with builders, creators, as well as, content creators, influencers. But really, from Web3 gaming to stable coins to even projects that are in the metaverse. And so, yeah, the journey has been a long one. But being in crypto from a marketing perspective since 2018, and then 2016 is when I learned about Bitcoin, which I think that's when you got into crypto too, right?
Yep. Yeah. 2016 as I heard about it in 2013, saw it in 2016, bought my first, I think like a portion of a Bitcoin and Ethereum in 2017. Everyone has their first Bitcoin story, but I think the time that I bought it, I used Coinbase. There was only 3 tokens on Coinbase, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And I took a screenshot. I think it's on my other phone or in the iCloud somewhere in the metaverse. But Bitcoin was $3,000, ETH was $300, and Litecoin, I don't even remember what it was. But yeah, 2017, and it has been a wild ride. Let's fast forward till today, and then we'll get into your own project. But right now, Bitcoin, we're actually down a little bit today. We're recording this on January 9th. Crypto's taken a small hit. I just saw it's like $92,000. ETH's around $3,200. But all you have to do is rewind 2 months ago, David. We were at a $64,000 Bitcoin before Trump won the election. Even a $92,000 Bitcoin is still good for me. I'm just curious to hear your thoughts. Where do you kind of think that we are at in this cycle? It's January 9th, 2025. Some people are saying, hey, it's already over. It's going to be over. Other people like myself expect it to kind of go until October, near October, and follow the 4-year cycle. Where do you kind of think we are in today's current cycle, and where do you think we're going to be going in 2025?
Yeah, so I think that there is some truth to the 4-year cycle, right? Like you got in 2016. Same with me. I was just learning. I was trying to understand. 2017 was my first year. I remember buying on Coinbase, just like you said. Like I bought a little bit of Litecoin. And I was like, I see the most appreciation here. Yeah. So you have 2017, 2021. We saw what happened. Exploded. Many different kind of markets, tangents. Crypto really caught the eye. 2025, I see taking a similar path. But I think the difference now is we have institutional players that are involved. Huge financial institutions, the biggest in the world, $1 trillion asset managers, BlackRock, Fidelity, et cetera. And quite frankly, from my perspective and from what I have learned, read, and heard from others, they have their customers involved. So they have a little bit of a upside to provide to these customers as Bitcoin increases, as crypto goes up, right? As the market provides these parabolic returns, their customers are going to be happy. Not only that, but they have their own money invested too. So we have institutional players that are involved. We have another sect that I don't think was really here in 2017, and it started to come in 2021, which are just traditional consumers. So you and I are investors. We're also consumers, but investors are people that I think got into crypto and started investing because of utility or value, things like XRP, things like potentially Litecoin, right? This crazy, faster version of Bitcoin, et cetera. So everyone has their different investment theories, but I think what we're starting to see now in 2025 is there's way more consumers that are coming into the blockchain. Look at Phantom, right? Phantom has 10 million monthly average users. I think it's about 10 million as of December 2024. So Phantom is a great onboarding tool. You look at other centralized exchanges, you look at decentralized exchanges, you look at even gaming as a way to onboard consumers into the blockchain, into crypto. Get them in, bring them on chain. And I think these consumers are coming in and they're starting to look at different things in crypto and saying like, hey, that's kind of cool, or that's kind of funny. Like, I'm just going to buy it, right? Like if you saw a Ponky meme go viral on Instagram, maybe you'd look into it a little bit more. If your friends were talking about, oh, this guy just got mogged, like you'd be like, what's that? And then next thing you know, you're mogging people too. And so I think the consumers are coming into crypto because of culture, and we're living in 2025, which is wild, right? We're in the second half of the 20s. We're a quarter of the way into the century. And I think really what we're seeing now is this digital age, this social age, things spread like wildfire. And ultimately, I think that we're going to see a very good year for crypto. I don't want to put numbers on it. I don't want to say, oh, this is the ceiling, this is the floor. But I think things are going to continue in the right direction. Trump's coming into office. We have a new crypto administration. Many people in Congress, in the White House, that are pro-crypto. They want to make the U.S. a hub for crypto innovation. They want to foster innovation here. And ultimately, they're going to provide regulatory clarity. That's bullish because the more clarity you have, whether it's in the stock market, whether it's in an emerging industry or crypto, the better you can operate. And businesses like that, consumers like that, investors like that. So I think overall, it's prime for success.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first time I really heard about a consumer market, but it really is. It's like people are, in 2021, people were buying Dogecoin and Shiba Inu because they like to invest in it. They wanted to invest in the project, but now people are buying MOG because they're like, wait, I have Pit Vipers. I'll wear those, right? They're buying Brett because they saw a reel on Instagram, which they don't own any crypto, or Punky as well. And now they're getting into the crypto space. So it's different. We also have ETFs, which are now live and trading.
Huge.
Right? We have both Bitcoin and Ethereum. There are rumors that we will probably see an XRP ETF and maybe even a Solana ETF. I think Solana would probably be first this year, and maybe XRP would follow. We have Brad Garlinghouse, Brian Armstrong, and other people at the White House talking to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is in office. Like you said, we have a pro-crypto president. We have Paul Atkins and other people that are going to be leading the SEC who are pro-crypto. So if you think that crypto is over here in January 2025, you could be right. There's a small chance. But even if it is, let's just say it is over, which I don't think we're anywhere near being over. It's not over forever. Like, crypto is going to continue to rise. And honestly, I've never been more bullish on cryptocurrency in my entire life, which leads me to the next topic is your project that you decided to launch, Lofi. I believe it launched in November, which is probably the perfect time to launch it. What was the exact date that you guys launched?
November 22nd.
November 22nd. So you were riding the uptrend of the Donald Trump election win that we had, and it was honestly some of the best days to launch. So let's get a little background on what Lofi is, the blockchain that you decided to launch on, which is Sui, probably the most bullish blockchain, and why you decided to launch a crypto project.
Yeah, so I'll just start with Sui. Basically, like you said, one of the most bullish blockchains to build on. I often tell people Sui is like if Base and Solana had a baby. You get some of the hardcore mentality, like the builders on Base, and then you get kind of the degen fun culture, like risk-on environment in Solana. And I see that on Sui. I actually see people that are building, people that are interested in like what's going on, what's Walrus protocol, what's Mysticetti, why is Sui the fastest? Like literally before you even see the confirmation, the transaction go through, it's like boom, it's done. Like it's quick in your wallet, crazy fast. You see real builder mentality there, but at the same time, you see a lot of people that have come from Solana, a lot of people that have come from other chains, Ethereum, and I mean, they kind of just like being there. They like being early, and they like the vibes, the community. Just from my impression of Sui, and I have been an investor in Sui for over a year now, It's something that I saw in 2023 when it launched. I got in, wrote it up to the top. I was like, well, didn't see that one coming. Dropped, DCA'd, and I just kind of stayed in touch. And I think the community there is really what pulled me in. Aside from that, though, Sui has, I think, key opinion leaders that are true key opinion leaders, like people that are setting the stage for the future of crypto. Evan, Adani, Sam, who created Move, the programming language. Like Move is a crazy powerful programming language, very smart. Sui is an object-centric model, so it eliminates a lot of the baggage that other chains require in a sense from a smart contract perspective. So I think the programming language is better. It's set up for success. And the way that Sui utilizes it is phenomenal. So you have people that are leading Sui, the co-founders, Misson Labs, other people that have joined Misson Labs that I think are tremendous. Just they set the tone. They bring in the right culture. So for me, it was trying to figure out, where do I want to create a brand, right? Sure, launch a project, launch a meme coin, but I wanted to build a brand on chain. And I had this inspiration. I actually read Read, Write, Own by Chris Dixon. So Chris Dixon, shout out, great book. If you guys have not read that, would highly recommend it.
I haven't read it yet.
Talks a lot about corporate networks, blockchain networks, and then protocol networks. So protocol networks is like email. And I won't get too much into the protocol networks because it's not as applicable here, but a corporate network is like, hey, you're going to start a corporation. You have this network. You have your traditional kind of way to build a business. You can maybe go public. You can keep it private, et cetera, right? So you have a corporate network, which is standard. Then you have a blockchain network, which came into existence relatively recently, right? In the last 15 years is when Bitcoin and crypto and everything else started really going, really building up. In the last 5 years is where things just went ballistic, parabolic. And now you're seeing people develop economies on chain. And so for me, I was like, wow, I read Chris Dixon's books and I was just like, I could actually build a brand on chain and create ultimately something that I thought would have culture and have real community.
Yeah.
And I think culture and community have value. But at the end of the day, for me, it was simply, where am I going to build this brand? And I decided on Sui. And then after talking with people at Sui and Miston and talking with people in the Sui kind of community and ecosystem, I was just like, we should do something that's cool, that's memorable, that has just a good look and a feel, right? One of the things I like about Ponky is it's anthropomorphized and it kind of has this human characteristic to it. And so we ended up going with a Yeti because it's this mythical creature. He comes back. We felt like we could really lean into this element of reawakening, right? Seeing the world through a new lens, even though you have all your old memories, and how to kind of live inspired in that moment, in that day. And that's really all we have, right? Like, as someone who's known you for a while, you're a big advocate for, I think, just being mindful, being present. And I think when you're in crypto, a week can feel like a year, or a day can feel like a week, right? And right now the market's down and everyone's panicking, but it's like, hey, relax, take a deep breath. Like, life is good. You got to move through every day with, I think, a mentality that sets you up for success in the future. And so with Lofi, that's what we want to do, is we want to build the community around these kind of core principles and tenets that, like, you can enjoy your life and not have to worry about what's going on out there if you embrace this mindset, if you really bond with people in the community over that. And so, yeah, really it was a situation where I felt like the market was good, the timing was right. 10 years of experience in marketing and branding, all of our network connections, all of our friends, they were really supportive. And so I felt like, why not give it a go?
It's been pretty amazing as well, right? You said November 20th, around then. It is January 9th. So about a month and a half in. And has it felt like longer than a month and a half? Like you just said, one day feels like a week feels like a year. For me, it has, like someone that's been covering the project. But I know we don't want to get too much into the market cap details, but we can talk about statistics, right? And facts about the project. The number one project on the Sui blockchain, which is very impressive. I mean, there's hundreds of meme coins on Sui. To launch and become number one in a couple of weeks is very impressive. So salute to you, salute to the team, salute to all the people that cover it, all of the Lofi holders. I know everybody's very happy. But let's talk also about the exchanges. How many exchanges are we currently on? And if you do have the names of those exchanges, because there are some big ones that you guys have already got listed on.
Yeah, definitely. So to answer your first question, it has felt a lot longer. The bags under my eyes are showing.
For sure, right? I mean, it's felt like, since I've seen it out, I mean, it's felt like 4 to 5 months, and it's only been a month and a half, but that's, like you just said perfectly, that's crypto.
It really is. And for me, as someone who's been, nonstop, 20 hours a day, sometimes all-nighters, the days just blend in. But again, that's why that mentality, and I go back to Lofi, I'm like, all right, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stuff going on. Just be present, right? Like just take it one step at a time, do 100 things at once. But again, like be very mindful. And so it has felt like 3 to 4 to 5 months, but I mean, so far so good in terms of the project's awareness, right? I kind of break it up into 3 things. One is awareness, right? That's the first day. The second one is accessibility. And the last one is adoption. So those are the 3 A's: awareness, accessibility, adoption. Right now, we've done really well on the awareness side. We're going to continue to build that. So we're going to build this massive global funnel where people around the world can find Lofi. And it's not just in the US, it's not just in Europe. We're actively in China, we're in Asia, we're in many other markets.
I've seen like threads and spaces from like Chinese influencers.
Yep.
And I clicked on one. There was one on Twitter. Maybe we can pull it up here, pull the tweet while we talk about it. But there was one where they wrote a tweet and I translated it. And it's like this incredible article about Lofi, like an incredible thread. Maybe it was China, Japan, I don't know. But it was just wild that I was like, oh, wow. There's a whole nother side of the world that has crypto Twitter and has meme coins. So it's pretty cool that you guys are not just tapping into an American market, right? A North American market, and America, Mexico, Greenland, Canada, future United States of America market. You're also tapping in China and other places as well, which is pretty cool. How did you go about that? How do you find these people to reach out to them?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Also, for those that don't know, Sui has a huge Asian audience, Asian community, and Japan, Taiwan, starting to grow in China, Malaysia.
Yeah.
And so for us, we were like, hey, we're building on Sui. There's a lot of good builders in Sui.
Smart.
And we were just like, China's a massive market in crypto. Yeah. And so is Asia. It's the largest continent, the most people in terms of population. And so we just felt like it was important. Also, you have a Yeti, which in folklore, right, is more of a mythical creature from the Himalayas. And Yetis are they're common there. They're popular. Like it kind of stands for, actually, I looked it up. It's like a protector in the environment, a sign of good luck, like all these things in different cultures, religions, et cetera. And so we felt like it was crucial. Like we needed 100% to be in Asia, but we're in South America. Like I've got people like sending me like random stuff, stickers, merch, apparel in Panama and Central America and South America. We're in Brazil. We got people in Brazil talking about us.
You got to feel good, right?
It feels great. And then my friend from Australia is like, oh, I didn't know you were behind Lofi. This is crazy.
No way.
Literally, and this guy snowboarded with him once in British Columbia up in Whistler.
And he just bought it.
He just stays in touch. And he was like, mate, I did not know this was yours. He was like, bang on, mate. And it was just like, just classic legendary Australian of him. But really, I mean, again, global awareness is key. And then accessibility, coming to what you said about exchanges, that is a big point of it, right? You want to make your brand accessible. So how do you do that? One big way in crypto is centralized exchanges. So we are on Poloniex, we're on LBank, we're on MEXC, we're on Gate, we're on Arbit. And I mean, I'll just drop this here because by the time that people see it, it'll be live. We're going to be on KuCoin in a couple hours.
No way.
Yeah, KuCoin's coming up. So they're
the number 4 exchange in the entire world.
Yeah, huge exchange.
Huge exchange.
They're announcing it tonight. And yeah, we're excited. It's never easy with centralized exchanges. There's a lot of legal stuff you got to jump through.
For sure.
A lot of hurdles. They're expensive, right? You're setting up a lot of marketing dollars. So KuCoin's going live. And then the following week, we're looking at a couple others where I'm just like, we should keep pushing this. Again, this is part of our mission to make Lofi accessible. But it doesn't stop at centralized exchanges. I think one of the best ways to bring people into crypto is through just consumer apps. So in the future, hopefully things like Robinhood or Revolut. There's actually an awesome platform or an awesome tool releasing on Sui where people can buy with Apple Pay now through this application. And so I'm going to wait till the announcement goes live, but that's coming soon. We're going to partner with them. We've got some big partnerships coming up with everyone's favorite wallet and other things. And so really the accessibility component is not only centralized exchanges, but decentralized, really just DeFi and then centralized exchanges, because there's many ways that we can get Lofi out there.
They're both important, right?
Yep.
DeFi and centralized exchanges. You have some big ones going live on KuCoin tonight. It's huge. For those that don't know, that's the number 4 exchange in the world. KuCoin is a mammoth, right? You have Binance, you have Coinbase, you have Crypto.com, and KuCoin's right up there with a Crypto.com, a Gemini, a Kraken. Like it is a top exchange. So congrats early on that. When does the Sui integration go live with Phantom? They tweeted it out like 3 weeks ago. So are you going to be able to buy Sui and Sui meme coins directly using the Phantom wallet?
So Phantom Wallet's going to integrate with their larger DEXs and their protocols and the things that basically connect anyone to Sui's ecosystem.
Gotcha.
So what I have heard is that the integration with Phantom, right, is coming soon. I can't give any official dates, but I think it'll probably be like end of January or beginning of
So
February.
soon. That's going to be huge.
It's
That would be
right
big.
around the corner. And again, 10 million, maybe more, probably more, 10 million active daily users on Phantom. And one thing that I talked about on a space with you was, hey, we want to connect communities cross-chain. So we're going to be doing some cool cross-chain airdrops.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we're going to be doing with airdrops this year, but it's really just, again, going back to the Lofi community, what our culture is, our pillars, how we want to kind of build in this. We want to build the character and make a larger than life avatar. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start to bring in some unique partners that are going to create value for us and for our community. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what it boils down to is, can we find people that share a similar vision, that align with our goals, our mission to bring people into Sui, number one, get people into crypto, educate them, and teach them about what DeFi can offer. So for us, that's very simply put, like, it's one of our biggest priorities of 2025. And yeah, I think Phantom is going to be a big driver of getting people into Sui. You have Backpack as well.
Mhm.
And I mean, look at the team from Mistin and Sui. They do not stop cooking. Like, they're always shipping something. And I think that again goes back to their leadership, their culture of drive innovation, foster creativity, and just get things done.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Sui for a little bit. Obviously, the team who you've had the pleasure to interview multiple times. I think you might actually be on the Sui team. You talked with them, so you might actually be.
I'm not.
You had Adonai
Maybe
on
one
there.
day.
You know, one day you had Adam. No,
Evan.
Excuse me. Sorry, Evan. You had him on this past weekend. I think you might actually be on the team, but I'm just curious, as someone that watches your content, what are the top 3 reasons that you're bullish on Sui in 2025?
Yeah, number one is leadership and the culture they set. So Adonai, great. I mean, this guy spills the alpha too. If you want the alpha, you got to go to Adonai. Number 2 would be Evan, who is I think a very talented, very experienced CEO and really just commands the team. Speaking with him on the space, he gave incredible insights, right? Build transparency, create trust, really just do not, I mean, this is something I've been preaching from day one. Don't be afraid to dream big.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else that I think is, you can't leave him out of the conversation. I mean, really all the Sui co-founders, but Sam created the Move blockchain, the Move programming language. Like, that's one thing that you just cannot leave out. Like, this guy has incredible accomplishments, but he's the creator of Move, and he is highly involved with Sui. You have Kostas, who I'm talking to as well. I'm trying to get him on a space because this guy is a genius, and he's the chief cryptographer there, I believe, co-founder as well. And then George, who I haven't really been able to connect with, but I think he's highly involved. So I think number one, like the number one reason I'm bullish on Sui is because of the team and the culture they set. Number 2, and actually 1A, the leadership team. 1B would be the people that I've spoken with at Mistin Labs, the people that I've communicated with at Sui Foundation, just all very sharp, very dialed in. Like, high talent density is a thing. And I cannot underestimate, or you cannot underestimate, like, don't fade the Sui team. Like, again, they ship. And I think just because of how fast they get things done. So that's number 1. Number 2 reason is the community. So you have the team, right, kind of setting the tone, but the community itself is following that culture, embracing it. They're building, they're bringing people in. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm, building there. And I think that ultimately, after talking with many builders and community members in Sui, we all want something that's much bigger than, hey, let's just, see the Sui price go up, right? We want to actually create an easy on-ramp for people to get into crypto. The ZK login does that. So number 2 is the community. And then the third thing is, I think, ultimately, and we could go down a really crazy rabbit hole here, but my perspective on crypto, the technology, and which part of the curve we're in, I think we're still a very left curve. We're still very early. And so I think your technology does become an important factor as you think 10, 20 years out, even 5 years out. And I think that Sui's technology is built to scale. I mean, you and I were hosting the space with Adonai, and he was basically saying, hey, no limits. Like, he said, no cap, no limits. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like, you basically have a technology that can scale globally. It's a universal coordination layer, or a global coordination layer is what I've heard him say. And so their technology is just superior. I mean, no offense to any of the other ones out there, but I think from a tech standpoint, they're one of the best layer ones. I think that you need to bring in builders and community members to create real value there on the chain. But ultimately, their technology is far above and beyond, many of the others. And ultimately this goes into like a question of like, what would you rather have? A couple big L1s? Would you rather have many L1s? Would you rather have L1s and layer 2s? Like, I think there's a healthy balance here. And I think that each chain has some value kind of tied to it. But ultimately, the third reason to summarize it is the technology is important in becoming a successful layer 1 blockchain that can actually scale globally.
Yeah, I agree with you. The fact that they're from Meta, former Meta employees, I think it was called Libra, right? The blockchain they were building over there.
Yeah.
And they're just very, very talented, very smart. And Sui is the fastest growing layer 1 blockchain in the entire crypto space. And in my personal opinion, it's so undervalued, sitting at a $15 billion market cap today, which is around the $5 price point per Sui token. And you look at Solana or Ethereum, Solana's at a $100 billion market cap today, right? Not much better than Sui, in my opinion. Actually worse than Sui, in my opinion, on a lot of different characteristics. So I feel like Sui is like, finding Sui in 2025 is like finding Solana back in 2021, in my personal opinion. Like, it's so early to Sui. So thank you for answering that. I do have a question, though. I've seen some of your tweets. I've heard you talk about it a lot. You always say that this is, yes, a meme coin supercycle, but I've heard you say this is a community supercycle as well. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to what we said, right? Consumers, they're coming on chain faster than any of us could have predicted. And I think ultimately what it boils down to is, do you see people using crypto and blockchains in the future? And I think, yes, there's going to be more people that come on chain. And simple example, right? So when you, myself, anyone else, right, they go and they pay, let's say I'm like, Jake, let's go grab a smoothie after this. We'll probably go grab a smoothie. We'll swipe our credit card and we'll have to pay 10, 20, 30 bucks, whatever it is. The business is going to have a 3.5% kind of transaction cost. So why would you pay 3.5% over thousands of transactions a day, a week, et cetera? You're not going to want to if you can get away with 0% or 0.0005, percent fee. And so I think really what it is you have this off-chain opportunity, you have this off-chain margin, and off-chain's margin is on-chain's opportunity. And I can't take quote for that. That's Jesse Polak. And he tweeted that. I'm like, that's a brilliant way to summarize that. And he would probably say, hey, I'm taking that from Jeff Bezos. He's the first person that had that quote.
Really?
The famous quote of, Jamie, pull this up, but I think it's basically like, their margin is my opportunity. Something along those lines. But I think the reason I believe consumers are going to come on chain is because businesses are going to find value in on-chain protocols. They're going to find value in saving costs, speed, et cetera. So as we see businesses come on chain, as we see consumers come on chain, there's going to be a shift. And I think that more people coming on chain equates to more communities, equates to more culture. Basically what we saw with social media is going to kind of blossom and grow on chain. And I think that, yeah, like meme coin supercycle is a good word for it. But I mean, you and I know this, 99.9% of meme coins are here now and gone in 4 hours, right? Like they're not around to stay. So I think the community supercycle is a factor of two things. One, in 2021, we saw some great communities form around NFTs. Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, one of the OGs. One of the ones that I think is on the top of everyone's mind is Pudgy Penguins.
Still around, still kicking.
Crushed it.
Still crushing.
Launch Pengu, right? Like they truly set the example for how to become a community that has real value. And ultimately, they're a brand. They're a global brand now. So I think what you're starting to see is the cream of the crop meme coins turn into these hardcore communities. You have many of them out there, right? We could probably go through and name them all, but I think to save time, this is a community supercycle because the people that got into NFTs, like the community aspect, they're starting to come back into meme coins and say, hey, like kind of similar, but there's maybe more of an avenue for me to grow and for me to, it's more of a liquid market too, right? Like you bought a Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Like I don't know if you could sell it now.
You can sell it, but not for as much.
There's
right?
a lot of things there.
On meme coins, you can sell. Let's say you have, let's just say the Mutant Ape was worth, or an NFT was worth $50K. It's like you might not be able to get that offer, right? But if you own 50, if you bought it for 50, if you bought an NFT for 50,000, you might not be able to get that offer, right? You're gonna have a minimum offer, maybe of 15K. You might get someone to buy it, but with meme coins, if you have $50,000 in a meme coin, you can sell that in most meme coins right now. So
right to the DEX.
It is a more liquid market. There's more attention on it, but NFTs were wild back in 2021. Yeah. Do you think that they're dead? Do you think that we see NFTs make a comeback?
No, I think they're for sure coming back. I think they're getting involved with meme coins. I think Pudgy Penguins is a great example, right? They did a little bit different. They launched the NFT, grew. Then they launched I guess you could call it a meme coin. I wouldn't say it's a meme coin, but you're going to have others as well. And I think you're going to have some of the best NFT communities. What was the other one that launched? It was a Retardio, or there was another one that came up and they did quite well. I think the ticker was Colt, and like they just went to a couple 100 million. But I think really you're going to see these communities come online, launch a token economy. And that's really what it is I would say the communities are launching, or they're building token economies. They're not launching a meme coin. And those token economies can kind of fuel the culture as well as maybe the brand growth in the future. So ultimately, I think NFTs have real world value in many different ways. Hopefully someday we have an NFT tied to your personal ID where you know that I'm a legitimate voter, right? You can't just walk in somewhere and...
In America?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I would hope so,
Do we
right?
have that?
We go to the Lightning game later. Maybe in 10 years, it's going to be an NFT where you scan and it's like, hey, you can see all the different kind of tickets in your wallet, your actual...
That could work. I think voting is so important. Like it would be so easy just to make sure that everyone is registered via the blockchain, right? Everyone has one vote, every American citizen, and it's all registered on the blockchain, and everyone can see it. You don't have to see how you voted, but you can see that your vote has been registered instead of how it is right now in 2024. Well, I guess we're in 2025 where no, it's illegal if you show me your ID to vote, it's illegal. I think that every American can agree that that's not right, right? And hopefully we get some changes. I think that's probably one of the first things that Trump will do. Speaking of Trump, he's going to be elected or inaugurated in about 2 weeks from now, 11 days from now, 10 days when this podcast goes live. What's your thoughts? He's promised a lot of big things. He's promised to free Ross Ulbricht on day one. He's promised to fire Gary Gensler. He's promised a lot for the crypto community. Do you think that he will do as much as he said for the crypto community? He's promised a Bitcoin strategic reserve. He's hinted at no capital gains tax if you purchase a token that's built in America, which would probably apply to LOFI as well, I'm guessing. But XRP, Solana, those are all tokens that are built in America. Even though Solana's co-founders are not from America, the token is headquartered in San Francisco. Do you think he does everything that he says he's going to do in crypto? Or do you think that maybe these were just talking points to get himself elected?
I'd probably say that he has good intentions to do a lot of this. I think he sees the future with crypto. I think that he also realizes we have a huge, massive, like tens of trillions. I think it's like 26 trillion, if not more, national debt. And how do you pay that off? I don't know. I would buy Bitcoin too. Like I would literally say, hey, let's buy some Bitcoin. Let's start a national strategic reserve or a stockpile. And we were talking about this early, maybe in the first minute of the podcast, market's down. And that's because they just released this news and speculation that, this seized Bitcoin, the government can now sell that. I mean, go ahead, sell it. If it hasn't already been sold, sell it, because I guarantee you Trump's going to get in there and buy it back. Or this pro-crypto Congress is going to make initiatives to, again, foster crypto innovation, really just create some clarity around blockchain and token economies. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think he would like to do a lot of those things. But in the US, just like any good democracy or republic, you do have some checks and balances, right? So you have the Congress, the House, the Senate, the judicial branch. You're going to have a lot of things that are going to come into play here. But ultimately, I think he's going to come in. He's going to make some big moves for crypto. And I think he sees the value in really just not even, let's think bigger than crypto. He sees value in driving business and commerce. And he knows that there's a lot of opportunity in crypto. So I think he wants to create more of that. I think he wants to spur on a successful economy for the next 4 years and beyond. Yeah. I really do. I mean, I don't know about you, but the last 4 years here have been interesting, to say the least. Getting out of COVID, and then the last, 2022, 2023 was rough. I think everyone in America is like, hey, let's get back to doing some things the American way. Like, let's start to really drive and push our output, our GDP, and like get back on the map. That's just how I feel. Yeah.
And back to the DOJ thing that you talked about, I saw the tweet from Watcher Guru. They have 69,000 Bitcoin that they can sell. They've been given approval to sell. It's worth $6.5 billion. I did the numbers. When you look at the market cap of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's market cap today is 1.8 trillion. So 1-850-000-000-000. 6 billion is only 0.003% of the total market cap. Even if they dump it all, it's not going to affect the Bitcoin price so much. Actually, it's going to cause it to crash. And then more people who are bullish on Bitcoin will buy it. And that's essentially what you want, is more diamond hand holders, not this gray cloud of the DOJ holding $6 billion worth of Bitcoin over our head that they can sell anytime. So even if they do dump it all, which I hope they do, other people who are waiting for a better price can purchase more Bitcoin. That doesn't scare me, right? The DOJ, who's not bullish on crypto, potentially selling doesn't scare me. What would scare me and make me bearish is if someone like Donald Trump changes tune, or if someone like Michael Saylor, who is perma-bullish, changes tune on Bitcoin. But the fact that the government sees $6 billion of Bitcoin and has the opportunity to sell it, it doesn't make me change my thoughts on Bitcoin at all. I hope they sell it so more people who have conviction, like Michael Saylor, and when Donald Trump gets into office, can then purchase that Bitcoin.
Yeah, let him sell it. Easier, nicer entry for us, right?
Exactly.
We'll gobble it up. But Saylor's, I mean, he's got no choice. He's all in for the next 3-4 years. And Trump, I think, who has just led a pretty good campaign, same thing. He's going to be pushing this pretty hard. And it's not just the Bitcoin Strategic National Reserve. It's going to be a lot of things. And I think if he really does make the U.S. a hub for crypto innovation, then we're going to see a lot of benefits for not just consumers, but investors, businesses, et cetera. And, at the end of the day, that comes to setting good laws and creating maybe new laws instead of using antiquated ones, right? We're talking about a brand new market. And I think that we need enforcement agencies that they don't go out there and they just enforce. They set clear rules and what is it called? Enforcement by regulation. It's not how you do it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, well, Gary Gensler's out on January 20th. The last 4 years plus, they've went after every single crypto firm, every single major crypto developer that's ever existed just because they could, just because they can, just because they can come down with an iron fist and no one can come after them, right? Their worst case is something like Ripple happens where they battle them and they lose. And guess what? It doesn't even matter. They still have to pay a massive fine. They still have brought down and suppressed certain tokens. So Paul Atkins is pro-crypto. He's been on the board of multiple digital assets, and I think that he will be good for crypto. I think the best thing he can do is on January 21st, take that Ripple lawsuit, tear it up, push that behind this. Stop going after people like Coinbase. Stop going after Brian Armstrong. Stop going after Crypto.com, Kraken, Robinhood for things that they're trying to do right. I mean, dude, there have been multiple times where Paul Garag, who's the chief legal officer of Coinbase, has tweeted out that we have tried to meet with the SEC over 25 times to just get clarification on regulation, and they've denied meeting with us, and then they send us Wells notices. It's like, It's been backwards, man, especially for good companies in America, which we think they're good. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but we assume Coinbase is good. You wish they got some sort of clarity and regulation, but I think all that changes on January 20th. A lot changes on January 20th. Obviously, a lot with cryptocurrency. How do you think this next year will affect the future of crypto and the financial world moving forward?
Yeah, so like you said, and actually I had it backwards. It's you actually want regulation by enforcement is not the right way. You want to have enforcement by regulation. You want to have clear regulation. And like you said, Paul Graywall he's one of the, I love following him on X. You can always get up to the minute. I mean, as soon as something happens, but I think, how does it actually impact crypto going forward? I think you're going to see people like Paul, people that are kind of leading some of these legal counsel for the largest companies in the US and other main legislators. I think you're going to see them come together and start to put together a framework for how we can foster innovation in crypto in the US. And I think ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to start to see a lot of things get shaken up. You're going to see some other tech industries. You're going to see different, maybe even software companies, currency companies, merchant processing, right? They're going to start to be like, whoa, like what's going on? Like crypto's coming in. Like, do we need to change some of our business models? Like, again, going back to the merchant processing thing, like there's a massive opportunity there. And so I think ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to see the US be a leader for pushing boundaries, for pushing innovation, for creating these regulations that are not going to make people scared of like getting Wells notices or having legal enforcement, right? They're going to be like, okay, like we know how to operate. Let's go out and build. Yeah. Let's go out and create things. Let's go out. And then, like you said, like Trump's like, hey, no taxes on crypto companies built in the US. Like that will actually bring more money to the US. Sure. It'll create a lot more GDP as well. Like it's really a situation. I kind of look at it, I'm like, if you do one thing, it's going to feed the other. Yep. Do the other thing, it's going to feed. It's like this upward fulfilling cycle. And so I think really what we're going to see is a very bullish environment from a legal and like regulatory standpoint. And again, that's going to make consumers feel comfortable. That's going to make investors feel more comfortable. That's maybe going to trickle into millions of dollars of advertising from BlackRock and Fidelity and everything else, right? You know this, but if If you guys don't, like, you can actually hold meme coins in your 401k or in a retirement portfolio.
Yeah.
You can hold meme coins on a centralized exchange, decentralized exchange. You can, and there's a lot of things that you can do nowadays. And I think really just comes down to, will the government be that invisible hand kind of helping us in the right direction? And I'd probably say, yeah, they're going to. So
right now you would assume, right? And it's just the more crypto friendly congressmen that you get elected, which is just always going to keep getting more and more, especially as these old farts, sorry, excuse my language, but they are old farts, 88 years old, 84 years old, still in office, making millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars when they make $200,000 a year. Once they get out, you're going to get more pro-crypto young Chads in there. And even like Donald Trump, a Chad, I think it's going to be good for cryptocurrency. But yeah, we do need more. We need regulation, not in the sense of like we have to be so strict about everything, right? We don't need people over like stepping on industry. We need regulation from within. We need Brian Armstrong, Brad Garlinghouse, Charles Hoskinson, CZ Binance, Justice Sun to get together and write a clear framework for how this should operate. They're the guys that kind of built this. They're the founding fathers of crypto.
Yes.
They need to get in it. We don't need regulation from Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, who don't understand anything about cryptocurrency. We need regulation from within, right? We need Trump to form a good leadership team in order to decide what the best way is. But I think that we do need some sort of regulation in this space. The reason why I'm happy to have this interview with you, for those that are watching, look who I'm interviewing, guys. A guy that has went to college, got his degree, has built a business for a decade long, 10 years, the business is still operating, and decides to launch a crypto project. Not saying that everyone in the space needs to and is doxed to everybody. Not saying that everyone in the space needs to have the requirement, but I always have been saying this. I've been saying it since 2021. I don't think that every single 20-year-old kid in their grandmother's basement should be able to launch a meme coin and run it up to a $100 million market cap because they don't know how to run that. They don't know how to sustain that, and people are going to get wrecked. We had a 12-year-old kid launch a meme coin, stole $20,000. It's like there needs to be some sort of requirement. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if it's about KYCing or having an LLC or what the requirement is. But I personally don't believe that every single person in the world should be able to launch a meme coin, regardless of your age, your size, your color, your history. I think there needs to be some sort of requirement. Just like right now, even you right now, you're able to launch a project. You're not able to launch a stock. You can't launch a stock right now on the New York Stock Exchange, right? There's requirements. You have to have a business. You have to have revenue. You have to have employees. You have to have funding. I don't think we need to be that strict with crypto projects, but I think that there needs to be some sort of requirement, whether it's even just KYCing to the government. You don't have to be doxxed to the public. KYCing to somebody, or having a business. There has to be some sort of requirement, because in the future, especially as more and more young kids get on into crypto and on the internet, you're going to have 10 years old, 12 years old, 15-year-old just rugging investors, and that's not good for crypto as a whole.
Yeah, I think ultimately what we're saying is we need, well, really one, too, right? We want smart regulations. And it's funny you said the founding fathers. I was like, dude, throw Paul in there and you got the founding fathers of crypto. I can see them cooking up. They're not writing the Constitution. Right? They're coding that thing.
Yeah, they're coding it.
They're coding it. But no, ultimately, I think what you're saying is we need clarity and we need protection. And I think anyone in their right mind would say, yeah, like if you're in the US, if you're in any country, right? Okay, cool. We have this new crazy technology. What do? How about we make some clarity on what should be right and wrong, right? Let's get some regulations in place. Let's make a framework. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just get something down, pen to paper. Let's get clarity. Number two, let's set up some protections and let's make sure that they're relevant to that industry. And I think what you're saying is very true here. Like, you don't want anyone and everyone to just be able to go out and launch a token.
They shouldn't be allowed to, right? Well, I think most people that are watching this, most people will agree with that, right?
But so I agree with you.
It's decentralized.
Theoretical, it's decentralized. People can do it. You've got Pump Fund, you've got coders. So it's technically, it's there. But I agree with what you're saying is, hey, what if you had a KYC to the government, or what if you had to do something else, right? And
just an age limit, maybe. Yeah, maybe just like, hey, prove your age. I mean, there's ways to fake that, but
for sure,
just something, bro. A 12-year-old kid should not be able to launch a meme coin. Everyone in the world can agree on that. Most people.
That was crazy, and then they ran it up in spite of him. I was like, this guy's
most people. Even when I talk on live streams or making tweets, most people will agree with that. Some people say, and I don't say go as far as regulating, but most people agree that a 12-year-old kid who has $0 in his bank account should be able to launch a meme coin. It runs up to where he has $20,000 in his wallet, and he rugs innocent investors. Most people will agree that's wrong. Now, you don't have to take it so far as where you have to KYC to the government, which I suggested, but there has to be some sort of requirement where not every single person in the world who has an internet connection can launch a meme coin that can run it. There has to be something. It's small.
It's tough because it's so decentralized, but
I know.
I think what you're saying is protection and really just
You're protecting the investors.
Yeah, look out for your friends, your neighbors, like what Adani said on an AMA earlier this week. It was on Monday. He was basically like, hey, like I asked him, what are some of the things that you would advise to a Sui ambassador or someone that wants to be a brand champion for Sui? So this was Sui specific, but his last little bit of advice was so clear and it points that it is really for everyone out there, right? Like, look out for your friends, look out for your neighbors, like tell them to avoid rugs, like try and educate them on what to do. Like, don't just blindly ape in, don't just invest. Again, like there's a lot of consumers that are coming into the space. If they want to consume something, there's a risk to that. But again, you should try and create a safe way for them to do that. So protections is smart. And then Evan said this too, like building trust in crypto is important. We don't want 12-year-olds or people that are just going to pull liquidity out of the system, right? Like we want liquidity to come into crypto, not to come out, because the more liquidity that comes into crypto, the more people that are actually believing and trusting the protocols and the people and the teams. Again, that's why I decided to do this in a docs dev kind of motion, right? Like I wasn't like, I'm not going to hide behind closed doors. Like I have a good history, good experience. And as you said, what happens when a project runs to 100 million market cap, 1 billion market cap, et cetera? Do you know how to run and manage a project? And I think most people that I work with through Lofi or through Zero Omega are just like, wow, like what you're saying makes sense. Or like, I understand that, I respect that. It's just like, we can't just do things run and gun. Like there's an actual brand here that we have to protect and people that are involved that I think just like the brand and the community and the culture. So it would be stupid for me to take that away from them, right?
Absolutely, 100%. So I think we're on the same page when it comes to that. And you don't have to be doxxed. I get it. I think it's nice. I think that a lot of people that watch this and watch you probably agree with that, but there has to be something, just something. Maybe the audience can let us know in the comments what they think. But just to sum it up, the podcast, first off, thanks for coming on. Lofi, #1 meme coin on Sui, obviously a lot cooking. I do want to touch on real quick too, the partnership with Wintermute. I think that has almost been overlooked by some because Wintermute is a market maker, not just any market maker, probably the most reputable in the space, the biggest in the space. They only work with the best projects they see a future with, right? I think Punky, Brett, Pepe, Mog, the list goes on and on, some of the top of the space. Why did you guys decide to partner with Wintermute, and how big was that?
Yeah, it was huge. So really, again, if you want to be the best, you should partner with the best, or you should learn from the best. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to be the best, and we're in a great position on Sui. We are the #1 culture project there, but what if we have bigger dreams, bigger aspirations, right? We want to grow into this global brand. And so for us, Wintermute is a strategic partner of us for that second layer accessibility. So when it comes to some of those platforms like Robinhood and Revolut, et cetera, like you want to have credible market makers, even for the bigger centralized exchanges. So for us, it was, I don't want to say a non-negotiable, but from day one, I was like, hey, we want to make sure that we have a very well-known, well-respected and compliant market maker. Compliant is key because a lot of these market makers are non-compliant and they've had a lot of scrutiny and do things the wrong way.
Shout out Gotbit.
Yeah.
Real quick, shameless plug.
For us, we basically wanted to find the right market makers, and Wintermute has a sterling reputation. A lot of people ask me like, oh, how did you get them? They're not working with meme coins. Like, yeah, Wintermute does not work with a lot of meme coins. And maybe what Wintermute's view is like, hey, they're not working with meme coins because they know it's a meme coin. They want to work with a legitimate project or a legitimate brand that is leading a chain or building on a chain and has the buy-in from the community, has a real culture. So that was one. There's another partnership announcement, I would say equally as big, if not bigger, that's coming. It's really just we're crossing the T's, dotting the I's. I think this video will go live and then you'll probably quote tweet it and be like, holy shit, and just bleep it out because it's going to be a massive announcement. I mean, this is for that first kind of layer awareness, right? How do we tap into a completely next level of people are like, wow, like I didn't even know Lofi existed, and now I'm seeing it on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all these other places. So to answer your question, we chose Wintermute because we want the best partners. Our future partner that we'll announce here soon, same situation, and anyone's in the future, right? We're going to find the best.
You should say it and we'll bleep it out. Can you say who it is?
I'll say it and you'll bleep it out.
Yeah, we'll bleep it out.
Yeah. So we're going to announce a partnership with
No way.
Huge.
No way.
Massive. Yeah.
Holy shit. They're huge.
They're huge.
probably one of the biggest in the space. That's
Pro-
crazy.
probably the biggest. I mean, biggest brand builders of our time. Like,
I've been following them for like a decade.
dude,
Over a decade.
massive.
You're gonna partner with them?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
it's coming.
That's crazy.
It's coming.
Yeah, bleep that out. We can't
Yeah.
announce that. Yeah, that's gonna be
Can't
huge.
that's real alpha. You can't put that in there. So that's coming.
Wow.
And there's a couple others that are really interesting.
Let's go.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. There's governments that are investing in Bitcoin and things that have been looking at meme coins too. That's all I'll say. But it's fascinating. We feel very fortunate to be in the position we're in. And ultimately, at the end of the day, right? 2025 is a long year. We're 9 days in, and people are freaking out because Bitcoin just dropped down to 91 or 92K. We got a long road.
I'm happy. 91 and 92K. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally started in the bear market of 2020 into 2021, rode it all the way down. We were at 15,000 not long ago. I was streaming every day. We're at 92,000. People were like, oh my God, why is crypto crashing on a live stream today? I look at the charts. I'm like, it's at 95,000. Stop panicking. Even if we pull back to 75,000 in the next week, we will go higher in 2025. I'm excited. I just had a great interview with the dev of Lofi, David Eisenhauer. Follow him on Twitter at Eisenhauer. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming all the way down to Florida. And we're going to get you to move here very, very soon. We're going to go have fun tonight. Great episode. Congrats on the partnership, all the work that you've done, and more continued success here in 2025.
Good deal.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Appreciate it.
Let's go.